Morning Year 3 and welcome to Maths. Today we've got our arithmetic, so you should have your book split up into 3 sections ready for your 8s on your bronze, doing some adding, and they're increasing in a fixed amount as you go through those today. And then for gold you've got to use the less than, greater than or equal symbols to get those sums balanced. Okay, and if you pause the video now, we can restart with the answers in a few minutes. Okay. Right, here we go with the answers. You've got your 8 times table all the way up to 72. Those were increasing in 6s, and the answers there, most of them were equals, and there were a few 3 less than to balance those sums today. So your starter, we're going to do measuring a volume, and we've done a little bit of this. Like, we started this last week, and we're just going to carry on. We're doing quite slow in development of our skills, but we just need to keep practicing and make sure that we're really getting it fixed in our head. There's no point in us rushing and finding it's not going in, and we'll have to do it all again. So just keep concentrating and trying your very best with these. Okay, so here's one where we've got the volume of juice, which is in this beaker here on this side, and I've split out this bit to make it slightly bigger so you can see the scale. Okay, and here is the line, and that's where the level has come up to, and you need to see if you can work out what that is on that scale. Okay, and then you can write your answer in here or jot it in your book. Okay, and then be ready to check your answer in a minute. So you can pause your video and here comes your answer. It's 250 millilitres, because you were jumping up. We've got this first marked section. There's 2 jumps between there. First marked section is 100, so if you've got 2 marks, so we divide 100 into 2 parts, then that is 50. So each of those unmarked, or each of those intervals, is 50. So we go 50, 100, 150, 200, and we get 250. Okay, so we're moving on now. We've got to do a let's talk, and we've got little characters here saying that the jug below holds 1 litre of liquid, and they want to know what other containers would hold about 1 litre of liquid. So this is very much about you having that understanding of roughly how much a litre is. Okay, and if you're doing things like getting your own breakfasts now, and if you're doing cooking at home, or you've got a water bottle and you're using all the, you're doing practical skills with your measuring, then you will get a really good idea. We need to have that practical idea of how much we've got in our water bottles. What is in one of those tiny little well, it's known as a pint, but how many millilitres are in an old-fashioned pint of milk? So have a look at those. I found that quite fascinating, actually, because 568 millilitres is equivalent to an old-fashioned pint of milk, which doesn't sort of, it's a funny old number, that one. And then we've got the 1 litre. So what other containers do you think would hold about a litre of liquid? So have a little think about that. Okay, you can pause your video again and get ready to restart. Okay, so here we have, so we're still thinking about that jug. We have an empty beaker here and a full beaker. So the beaker is marked in litres, so we've got the 1L at the top, and millilitres. It's not actually marked in millilitres, but these are millilitres, so these gaps are millilitres up to 1 litre. The amount that the container can hold, any container can hold, not just a beaker, is its capacity. So that if you have a teapot and you fill it up with tea, the full amount that you can get in that teapot is its capacity. Okay, if you have half a pot of tea, then that's the volume that contain. It can obviously the teapot can hold a lot more, but if you've got half a pot of tea, then that is the volume that's in there. The volume is the liquid that's actually there. The capacity is how much it can hold, at its maximum. So we're splitting this part out again to show us. And we can see that this section here is half of that main section up to 100. And we know, we've just talked about that's 50 millilitres. So we can do two ways of counting how much we've got in a beaker or on this scale. We can count up in 50s, and we can use our knowledge of 5 times tables to help us with this. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then we know with our place value we can make that 50, 100, 150, 200, 300, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500, and all the way up to 1 litre. So when we'd get to 900, we'd go 950, then we'd say 1,000 millilitres or 1 litre. Okay, but we can also read this scale in the 100 millilitre steps that are the marked intervals. Okay, so we can jump up, we can count the steps in 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 and 1,000. Brilliant. Okay, so we're up to 1,000 millilitres or 1 litre. Okay, and that's a really key part of the information our learning at the moment, is to get that. It measures 1 litre or 1,000 millilitres. So that pink jug that we had all the way back here is the equivalent of 1 litre or 1,000 millilitres. Okay. Okie dokie, let's get going. The volume of the liquid in the jug is 1 litre, and we write ml for millimetre. Oh, Mrs. Ludlow, that shouldn't say millimetres, should it? What should that say? It should show millilitres. Terrible, terrible behaviour. Must get a little slap wrist for that one. Millilitres for volume, millimetres is for length, and L is for litres. So I say, you say, we say. There are 1,000, I got it right here, 1,000 millilitres in 1 litre. So 1 litre equals 1,000 millilitres. Beakers contain coloured water. What is the volume of water in each beaker? So in here we've got, well, how much have we got? We've got 1 litre, and we could say that as 1 litre, or we could say it as, how many millilitres would that be? We've got 900, 950, and this would be 1,000. So we could say it either way. Okay. The coloured water in this beaker is 1 litre or 1,000 millilitres. So here we're just going to read up this scale. You can see the light mark there. It's the 600 millilitres. So the volume of the coloured water in the beaker is 600 millilitres. And this one, we've got we're coming in just under that 1 litre mark. Now, we're on an unmarked part of the scale here, and we know this section. How much is this extra that we've got to put on here? What's that difference? What's that half a jump going to be? Is it going to be 5, or is it going to be 50? Or is it going to be 100? What do you think? hoping that you will have realised that that's 50 jump there at the bottom. So you've got 50, 100, 152, and then here you'd say 800, 850, 900, 950 millilitres. So the volume of water that's coloured in the beaker is 950 millilitres. Okay, so measuring the volume in litres and millilitres, your steps to success today are to check those units of measurement on the beaker, make sure it does say millilitres and it does say litres, whichever one, or it might have both on there. Carefully look at that scale and judge where that liquid meets it, where that lighter sort of edge is at the top, and you'll be able to see where it hits that scale, where it touches the scale. Where that scale is unmarked, you know that the interval is 50. So the first marking is 100 with 2 intervals, so that's dividing that space by 2 is 50. Then you can read and record your answer, and you must put in your unit of measure, because that's one where we often leave it out. I think it actually might be on the sheet there for you, but just make sure you're thinking about that and you're noticing it's in millilitres. Don't do a Mrs. Ludlow. Do a millilitres today and litres, okay? And here's your sheets. Okay, so you've got millilitres here and you've got litres along the top, so you'll be able to read those off. And then the final question here is to have a look at a scenario where one beaker is being added to another, and somebody thinks they're getting a certain amount of water in there, and you have to explain whether or not you think this person is right or wrong with your maths. Okay, so really nice explanation there would be great. Okay, so do your best with that work today. I hope it goes well, and don't forget it's millilitres, not millimetres. Okay, take care. Bye for now.